founded the company 5 years ago as a commenting platform for bloggers. But this was just the beginning. Today, their platform reaches more than 125 million people and delivers over 1 billion live content streams every month with 10 million registered users. It's a pleasure to welcome on stage Jordan KRETCHMER, CEO and founder of Livefyre.
Hi, everybody. All right, here we go. So, going back about 5 years ago, brands, no matter how big or small you were, had the opportunity of a lifetime. All of a sudden, you had Twitter and you had Facebook and other social platforms like it that allowed you to market for free to pretty much all of your consumers, all of your audience who cared and wanted to see your message. And the problem is that has all changed now. And so what I want to talk about today is the new form of marketing that's coming about based on the fact that you can't just rely on social media channels in order to deliver your message. And the first point here is that social media in general is built on a very shaky foundation. It's not just the fact that people's behaviors are changing all the time. It's also that the social networks themselves are changing how they deal with you. So Facebook all the time changes the way that they present content from a brand out to an audience. And this leaves brand marketers and publishers alike being very reactive or having to respond to what's going on around them without the ability to control it themselves. And so when you take a look across, the statistics are pretty staggering. A lot of people know this already, but organic reach of Facebook is less than 2%. This means that less than 2% of the people who want to see your message, these are people who've raised their hand and said, I want to know what you have to say, Clorox bleach. These people don't get your message anymore unless you pay for it. And at the same time, nobody goes to Facebook fan pages anymore. Raise your hand really quickly if you've been on purpose to a Facebook fan page for a brand in the last 6 months. Honestly, 1, 2, 3, 3 out of like hundreds, 7, 10 out of hundreds, right? And so the point is that for a brand to get their message across to their audience, you now have to pay to play. And the same thing exists on Twitter, where the average impressions of a tweet that go out are less than 3%, interaction rates are less than 1%, which puts the statistics of your message getting in front of an audience at just about even with banner ads. And this doesn't mean that Twitter and Facebook are bad places. It just means that now, to get your message across, it's no longer an earned media channel. You can't just organically gain reach into your audience this way. Everybody is fighting for that same share of voice. When you're a brand and you're publishing out into Twitter and Facebook, you're not just fighting other brand messages. You're fighting your cousin's new daughter who, everybody else wants to talk about. You're fighting all the cat videos that your friends are posting. So the content marketplace, the available and access of content that people have is so far-reaching that to compete, you are fighting an uphill battle constantly. And sorry for the really aggressive slide. I was actually really looking forward to the piranhas up behind me on this big screen. But this is what it feels like. All these users want more content, and all the people that want the content are demanding, so everybody's demanding more and brands are producing more, and it creates this mayhem of an environment that everybody's playing in. And essentially, you end up renting your audience. So when you're going to Facebook and you're telling fans and you're buying ads on Facebook and you're saying, like my Facebook fan page, you're paying to rent an audience that you then have to pay for again if you want to get your message out in front of them. And so essentially what it comes down to is that social media is no longer an earned media channel. It is now a paid channel. Okay? And so marketers have to start thinking about it as though it is paid. You're driving traffic somewhere else. You're paying for media. And then the question is, where do you take that traffic? And the answer, more and more, is you've got to drive that traffic where you own it, to your owned and operated properties. And this is a rubber band effect that's happened. In fact, a good percentage of marketers now say that their owned and operated properties are the most important place for them to send their audience. Brand affinity goes up, conversion rates go up, when they can just get people to their owned and operated properties. And it's an investment that happens over time, right? Just like you invested in building Facebook fans, right, that are now pretty much valueless unless you repay to activate them. And so this is the old way, this is the old way of managing content. And this is why marketers, it took them so long to start creating content on their owned and operated properties and creating experiences that users could engage with on their owned and operated properties, because no tools existed for them to be able to do that. And so you have on the top horizontal here, you have long-term asset management. This is using content management systems like Adobe Experience Manager and Drupal, Acquia, and WordPress, and you use those tools to manage your marketing activities into your owned and operated properties, into your websites, into your banner ads, even into your print campaigns and your TV campaigns. And then on the bottom half, you've got social marketing channels, where it's like, I want to get a tweet, and I want to put it on Twitter. I want to create a Facebook post, and I want to put it on Facebook. I want to find that trending article, and I want to tweet it to my followers, right? But that carries all the same problems that we just talked about, and unless you're paying, the value of producing content and distributing content there is pretty low. And so the problem historically was that these two things were disconnected, and nobody was taking into consideration that there's over 2.5 billion pieces. Whoop. Yep. Was I too loud? Was that? There's over 2.5 billion pieces of user-generated content created every single day, right? And that's going up exponentially. By the end of 2015, it'll be 4.5 billion. Okay. So what that means is there's no tools that exist out there today that can help you get value and take all of that amazing user-generated content that's happening out there and actually distribute it to your owned and operated properties. Because you have here, you've got brand-created content to get to social networks, and you've got brand-created content to get to your own properties, but there's no way to get social-generated, user-generated content to your owned and operated properties. And that's what Livefyre, my company, is built around doing, and there are other companies like us who are popping up, of course, to help solve this problem. But essentially, we take all the different forms of content that exist out there on the web, pull them into one place, and then let you easily, with one click, get that content out to your owned and operated properties. And it's a very, very new concept for brand marketers to be more responsive to what's happening in the world around them. It's real-time marketing at its best. It's scaling real-time marketing by using the over 2.5 billion pieces of content out there created today. And so I've got just a quick video, 25 seconds or so, that just shows how that process works. Getting a piece of content from the external social web that somebody just created and getting it onto your banner ad and onto your homepage with one click.
Livefyre helps you create and distribute real-time content so you can better engage your audiences. In just a few clicks, you can select relevant, real-time, user-generated social content to instantly feature on your owned and operated properties. You can publish directly to your website or even feature in ad units to provide fresh, authentic content from your biggest fans, so there will always be something new for your audience to engage with.
So again, a very new way of thinking about how you take content that's being produced and actually make it valuable by amplifying it and distributing it out to an audience that doesn't require a social channel, right? And remember, it doesn't require Twitter or Facebook to get that content back out to your audience. So 88% of brands using real-time applications and real-time user-generated content see increased user engagement as a result. Every brand measures this differently. Because I had a little bit of a hang up there, I'm going to skip through some of these stats really quickly. Brands who actually do engage their audiences, who build places for their audiences to come and participate and deliver content like this to them, they get their audience to stay 3 times longer. The audience visits 5 times the pages, and they come back 3 times more often. This is the brand affinity we were talking about. And so there's 3 core pillars to engaging and building your own audience with your own direct channel that doesn't require paying to get your message out into Twitter and Facebook in order for it to be seen. The first one is activating your audience. Sony PlayStation is one of the best brands in the world at doing this. Sony PlayStation builds destinations now. They don't drive people to their Facebook fan page anymore from their TV spots. They build destinations where they can build their own audience over time. This destination site, greatnessawaits.com, in and of itself sold over 1 million consoles for the launch of the new PlayStation 4 by having voting and contests and getting their users involved and activated with the brand, collecting video footage that was captured from the games that their users were playing in real time. Sears Craftsman. Sears is one of the largest retailers in the United States. So they do things like match their, so Sears is a hardware store. And so people can go build, so people go to there to buy tools, and they go home and they build the world's best dog house, or they work on their own cars. And so Sears activates their audience when you buy that hammer or that jigsaw. They say, go home and build something, add your project into the contest, and then other users can come vote on it. NASCAR, it's like the Formula One of Middle America, I guess is the best way to put it. And so NASCAR engages their audience by pulling in all the content being tweeted about their drivers who drive the race cars, and then doing a virtual race with those drivers based on what driver is the most popular on social media, and then they present this up in the tracks in real time as well. Reclaiming your reach. This is about getting your audience to register for you directly so you don't have to contact them through Twitter or Facebook. Universal Music Group does a fantastic job of this. They encourage the users to register and to follow their artists like Lady Gaga and the Black Eyed Peas directly on their sites so that they can push notify a fan of Lady Gaga that her new concert tour just got announced. They don't have to just tweet it. And then creating and distributing more content. I showed you this example, so I won't get into too much detail, but taking an awesome piece of content, in this case from a cruise ship, and putting it out to your whole audience who may want to go book a cruise later. My time is up. Thank you, everybody.